The story comes to us from abcnews.go.com. What is up with these cops, man? And can't control their dinghy. A former police chief has been convicted of raping a child and related offenses in abuse the victim said began when she was about 4 years old and occurred hundreds of times over the following 7 years. I hope they put the news out to wherever prison this guy's going to and say, hey, you know what this guy did? He's yours. The case in northeastern Pennsylvania's Carbon County against former Weisport Police Chief Brent Robert Getz and a friend of his languished for several years after police first learned of the allegations. Why did it take several years after the police first learned of the allegations? Why? Hopefully it says in the story, right? You'll find out. But he says his name is Chief Brent Robert Getz. If, whatever Chief Robert wants, Chief Robert gets, right? No, it's a shout out to Lethal Weapon. In addition to the rape count, the jury found Getz of Layton guilty Thursday of 1 count each of involuntary deviant sexual intercourse with a child, aggravated indecent assault of a child, and indecent assault of a child under 12. This is hard to read, man. My blood is boiling. His bail was immediately revoked and he was taken to jail. Yeah, he don't get bail. Maybe let him out on bail and After his arrest in 2019, Getz was fired from his job as police chief in Weisport, a town of some 400 residents, 77 miles northwest of Philadelphia. A message seeking comment was left for his lawyer, Brian J. Collins. He actually had a lawyer? They asked me to be the guy's lawyer. I'm like, you know what? This is one case I ain't touching. Co-defendant Gregory Wagner, he had a co-defendant of all things, pled guilty to child rape in November 2020 and agreed to testify against Getz. Both men who were adolescents when the abuse began await sentencing. Who cares if they were adolescents? They're monsters. According to Getz's 2019 arrest affidavit, the victim told a substitute teacher at her elementary school in early 2012, when she was 11, that Wagner had raped her. The Carbon County Child Welfare Agency became involved, and the victim was interviewed by a child advocacy center in Scranton. A nurse concluded the child's symptoms and accounts were consistent with sexual abuse. Leslie Slingsby, executive director of Mission Kids Child Advocacy Center in East Norriton, an organization that helps respond when child abuse allegations are made, said the victim went through more than she or he ever needed to. Absolutely. We didn't even need to make that statement. We all knew that. Slingsby said these are cases that are heartbreaking, yes, because it has taken this child so long to get justice, as well as for this child to ensure they were safe, for children in the community to be safe. And it goes down, it really talks a lot about it. It talks about a cell phone video of Wagner having her watch pornography. It talks, I can't do any more of this. But not only was it the former police chief, it was his buddy. Not just one, but two. That's what's so wacky. But let's see how you guys feel. If any of you are there in Pennsylvania, especially if you're in the surrounding areas of Philly, like where this guy's from, now you know, Carbon County. That's who you had as a police chief.